We're here today with Adam Niemerg.
Well, Tyler, thanks for having me on here today. I really appreciate you coming over here and giving your time here this morning. Again, my name is Adam Niemerg. I'm a state representative of 109th District in Southeast Illinois. That represents all or part of 9 counties. I live in rural Diederich with my wife Trina and our 2 children, Benjamin and Genevieve. Ben just turned 6 actually. Ben's 6 and our daughter is 2 years old. So we're here at our home. And I worked for Country Financial for 12 years. Now I'm a full-time legislator, and my wife works for Washington Savings Bank in Effingham.
Where did you attend junior high, high school, and where did you graduate?
Well, I'm T-Town, born and raised. So, Tyler, to answer that question, it's Teutopolis Junior High School, Teutopolis Grade School, Teutopolis High School, and I graduated in 2002. I did golf a little bit and I also played basketball, but I stopped playing basketball up towards my junior year, but I did play basketball and I did track on and off as well. I went to college at Lakeland Community College in Mattoon from 2002 to 2006. I worked off and on during that time, but then I started at Eastern Illinois University where I met my wife Trina, pursued a bachelor's degree in history and graduated in 2008.
Why did you choose to get into politics?
Tyler, that's a very, very good question. Some of the first calls I had was, are you crazy? What's on your mind? How are you doing this? Don't you know the hornet's nest you're walking into? Essentially, my family has always been very political, very conservative. We've always had those conversations at the dinner table. And over the last few years, my curiosity has exponentially grown. So what had happened in May of 2019, there was a reproductive health care law that was signed and passed through the Illinois legislature. It was a very egregious bill. It's a form of legislation. It's a pro-choice bill. It's essentially opposite of what I believe. I'm first and foremost a pro-life legislature. So that's essentially what was the catalyst that took me into to running for office. Not only those conversations at the dinner table, listening to Rush Limbaugh growing up, but essentially that catalyst, that last straw there was in May of 19 when the reproductive health care law was signed.
As a state representative, you will have a big impact on people's lives. What does that mean to you?
Tyler, it's a very good question, and it is a tremendous responsibility. It is an honor and a privilege to serve the folks here in the 109th District, and it is with a tremendous amount of responsibility that I undertake this process and represent you, the folks in my district in the 109th. So it's very important. It's very important, and what I have as far as the impact on folks' lives for pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and pro-business legislation. Constituency affairs is essentially, folks, it's number one at taking care of our district. So if you need to call our office, if you need to have a discussion with us, if you have a particular issue, we are here to help. That's what I'm elected to do, and that's what I want to do, is help everybody in our district and serve the great state of Illinois.
What is the biggest surprise that you have witnessed so far in Springfield?
Tyler, I really enjoy that question, and it's a hard one to answer. Because I had an idea of what I was going to be going into whenever I took the oath of office on January 13th. It was partisan gridlock. It was a lot of the Democrats were running the show with very little input, care to have no input from Republicans whatsoever. We're in a super minority on both sides of the aisle, and the governor is, in my opinion, a radical leftist who is furthering the mass exodus of people in the state of Illinois. But really, knowing all of that, the bureaucracy of the whole of the state of Illinois, the lack of transparency, the lack of accountability. Quite frankly, there's times where I wonder how are we even functioning as a state? We know we're not, but if this was a private enterprise, if this was a business, we'd all have been fired. So it's been very frustrating, but we're here to turn that around to reform this state and have a more business-minded model approach in doing that.
What in your past has prepared you the most to being a state representative?
My family. My family's been there for me ever since we started this process. And I have a very firm belief in God and Jesus and my Catholic faith that I grew up with my family here in rural Diederich, Illinois, and Bishop Township and in the Teutopolis area. So that foundation has prepared me for the trials and tribulations that I will be running into as a state representative. In addition, my background as a bachelor's degree in history from the Eastern Illinois University has given me a great foundation as well of understanding politics, the history of politics, and how that relates to political science. the trials and tribulations, again, that I'll be dealing with as a state representative. So my history educationally, foundationally for my family, as well as my faith, give me a great stepping stone, so to speak, into running this district.
Are you wanting to be just a state representative, or are you wanting to go higher in office?
Oh, that's a great question. I love it. I love it. Well, Niemerg 2024 Trump will be my vice president, right? No, at this particular point in time, I am very comfortable where I am at. I enjoy being the state representative of the 109th district, and I enjoy what I do within my district. And I look forward to reforming this state. But Tyler, that being said, if an opportunity doesn't present itself viably, I will definitely consider that.
Who has had the most profound effect on your life?
My parents. Second to my parents would be my wife, Trina. I would have to say, Tyler, that it has to be almost segregated at different age groups of my life, different points of my life, and where I've been and where I was as a person. You know, in my youth, I was not the smartest person. I'll say I was, kind of an idiot sometimes. But my father was there to be there with, the conversations that needed to be had with me, and sometimes the conversations that I wasn't able to hear at that time, but he needed to have with me to essentially make me grow as a young man and into where I am here today. My mother as well, guiding me in my youth and giving me courage and strength for what I'm dealing with today. It comes a lot from my mother as well and my father. So later, I guess later in life, I'm almost 37, I'm only 36, but the last 14 years, my mother is still very instrumental in my decision-making process. I love to run everything past them and have conversations and sit down at the dining room table. But really, today, they are very instrumental, but if it wasn't for my wife, Trina, Tyler, I wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation with you. She's been my rock, my backbone. She's gotten me going whenever I'm feeling down, whenever we run into a particular issue where we need to kind of pick ourselves up. She's right there to pick me up and to do that. She has been essentially my campaign manager whenever we were running the campaign, and my day-to-day in the trenches, getting things done, pushing through, trying to think what we're going to do with our legislation, trying to think about how we're going to do things in the future. She's just instrumental. So that's not a one-size-fits-all answer I can give you. It's really family and Trina, and also I'd have to say my siblings as well.
What are a few of the topics you are wanting to accomplish for our area or district?
What I'd like to do is have our constituency affairs in the state of Illinois, my district, second to none. And what that means is that if you call with a particular issue, we will follow up, we will handle that issue, and we will get you an answer to the best of our ability on that particular issue. So for example, there's a FOID card. So if you're not familiar with the FOID, Tyler, it's what you have to have in order to possess a firearm in the state of Illinois. Now, my opinion is the FOID is unconstitutional and it needs to be voided, which I have a bill to subsequently do that. But until that's done, we have to deal with this particular issue. So if you call my office with a FOID card issue, we will be there to help. If you call my office with an Illinois Department of Transportation issue, we will be there to help. That's paramount in my office, and what I tell my staff on a daily basis is what can we do to be productive for not only the state of Illinois, but more importantly, the folks in our district. Secondly to that, I've got pro-life legislation. And when I ran for office, I ran as a pro-life, pro-Second Amendment, and pro-business candidate, very conservative Republican, which means that I want to value all life. I want your Second Amendment protected, and I am done with this mass exodus of folks leaving the state of Illinois. I want folks to be back in the state of Illinois for more than just my family lives here. I hear that routinely. Oh, I'm here just because my family is here. We need to get beyond that. We need to limit taxes, we need to respect life, and we need to respect the Second Amendment. So those three are paramount. They're not just talking points. I have multiple bills that dive into each particular issue. So that's paramount to me as a legislator going into the 102nd General Assembly. Now, we have got great obstacles, obviously, in getting that legislation passed, but I am not going to stop until we get the majority in each party, until we get a Republican governor, and we're able to actually correct this state and reform Illinois.
What towns are included in your district?
I have got Teutopolis all the way down to Carmi, over to Fairfield, all the way over to Lawrenceville, and then back up. So I've got towns such as Olney, Fairfield, Carmi, Lawrenceville, Newton, Teutopolis, Flora, Louisville. So I've got all are part of 9 counties, and it's a big chunk of Southeast Illinois. So you can just Google the 109th district in the state of Illinois, and my name will come up, and there'll be multiple maps that'll give you an idea of the size and scope of our district, but it's the best district in the state of Illinois.
What went through your mind when you were elected or won your election?
It was surreal. It was, being in our district, we're heavily Republican. So this was, we had assumed that we were going to win this particular election for our general election, but still when it happened, my opponent, John Spencer, had called me, a great gentleman, called me and he congratulated me on winning the race. But it wasn't until, Tyler, you were there. It wasn't until we started to see WCIA, till things really started to come in and my phone started to ring that we thought, okay, this is happening. This actually has taken place. So it was very surreal. And then the gravity of the situation set in with me in saying, I am representing over 100,000 people. And my convictions and my conservative ideology reflect my district very well. And it is a tremendous honor and a privilege to serve that many folks, for that many folks to say, hey, this is who we want, this is who we believe in, and for me to have that opportunity. So I'll be very happy to serve and very grateful to serve as well.
Adam Niemerg! How would you describe the kids that are going to school, the parents that have to teach the kids, not being able to go to school, and the mental stress that goes along with them, the lockdowns that are happening?
It's a very good question, Tyler, and these lockdowns are going to have resounding consequences for multiple years. Suicide rates are up for children, high school teens. We have kids that can't play sports. They've got their playoffs are missed now. Football was pushed back. They're trying to get scholarships. They're trying to do the best they can. They're trying to be in school, yet we have school districts in Chicago that still aren't even open, and the teachers unions in the Chicagoland area are vehemently against returning to in-person schools. And we see hospitalization rates down. We see immunization rates up. We see Illinois is on track, and quite frankly on track to open today and to get kids fully back in school, to get these sports fully operational. And I tell you, Tyler, it's not just about the kids that are in these schools that can't play sports or had their playoff season either pushed back or completely eliminated. It's the grandparents that look forward to watching our children play sports. It's the mothers and fathers who invested years of hard work and dedication into raising their children properly, into teaching them sports and competition and how that will actually prepare them for real world and real life scenarios. It's the other siblings that look up to the 16, 17-year-old junior or senior that has done well in sports or has excelled or has kept working hard towards that goal. And they look up to that particular individual. And they want to be like that particular individual and aspire to that have been robbed, that opportunity, have been robbed that, quite frankly, by a tyrannical governor with these overreach in government mandates and lockdowns. So, Tyler, to kind of put it all encapsulating, I'm ready for Illinois to reopen 100%, get our kids back into school, get rid of these mask mandates, and fill up our gymnasiums so our grandparents, our teachers, our children and most importantly, our students can start playing sports, have a sense of normalcy once again. And to folks, I'm just talking about common sense. I understand that this virus is still out there. I do understand that, but ultimately, it is your choice. And I will always say this, and the Supreme Court agrees with me as well. It is your choice, not the government's. And that is so vitally important that the government works for you. You don't work for the government. So just always remember that. But folks, it's time we reopen Illinois, and we should do it today.
If people want to get in touch with you, Adam, how is the best way to get a hold of you?
You can reach me at my district office. It's at 107 East Main in Teutopolis, Illinois. Our number there is 217-813-8255. 817-813-6036. Again, it's 217-813-6036. You can reach me on my website, repniemerg.com. Again, it's repniemerg.com. My email is Niemerg. This one's it's a little tough here. Niemerg at ilhousegop.org. Again, it's Niemerg at ilhousegop.org or repniemerg.com, or the easiest way is 217-813-6036. Tyler, I think that we covered a wide scope of topics here today. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity. And Tyler, thank you for coming over here today. And a little shout out to Rep King Media. So go check him out. Check out this video on YouTube. Check out what Tyler has to offer. He's working really hard for our community, sports and music related. So please check him out. But folks, just remember that this is about common sense and real true common sense, Southeast Illinois, and about restoring integrity to the state of Illinois, ultimately, and reforming this state. So God bless each and every one of you, and have a wonderful day.